Hello to Korea. My name is Joachim Zell, while many of my colleagues simply call me JZ. It's an honor for me to present today to you from Hollywood, California. As you can see, I have my surfboard behind me on the wall. I decided today to just speak to you. Welcome to the filmmakers and content creators of Korea. I guess some of you have recently won one or two of our Oscars, so congratulations for that. Today, I would like to present the ACES pipeline and workflow. I'm the vice chair of the Academy Color Encoding System project. I'm an associate member of the American Society of Cinematographers. At Barco, I'm the head of HDR content, and I serve on the board of directors for the HPA, the Hollywood Professional Association. I would like to talk about the workflow. We really, while making Hollywood blockbuster movies, want to take care that cinematographers and creatives see the same image in the same quality with the same color while capturing during the daily's production, while being in the edit bay during the VFX phase. And then when we finish on our Barco projector for the DI, we again want to see the same image. So the creatives should always recognize the imagery. We know that we film in spring, summer, autumn, and winter. We have different time settings, different sunlight. So color needs to be managed over time and color needs to be managed over distance. Of course, we film in different countries over the whole world. Second unit might be in one country while first unit is in another country. They are different light conditions, different situations, different times of the year again. So the Academy Color Encoding System shall take care that we have a consistent look through the pipeline of our production. This diagram shows nicely the available tools in ACES. The IDT, which you see on the left side, is the input device transform, taking care that cameras appear matching to each other. We always ask, what's the creative intent? Why do you use different cameras? Most likely a drone has a lighter camera than the camera which is on the tripod or on the dolly. You might have underwater housing where you need a camera with a smaller footprint. But most of the time, the creative intent is that the cameras should all match each other. And the ACES IDTs help with that. The processing pipeline you see in the middle, the color correction is as well often called LMT, the look management tool. And the RRT, the render transform, puts the S-curve on the signal. And most important, again, the output device transform. Today, we don't deliver just to one device anymore. We don't go just to cinema. We don't just go over the top to the TV set. We also go to the smartphone or the tablet. But the creative intent shall be most of the time the cinematographer and the director has a certain look in mind. So ACES helps again that the output device transform is chosen so that on the device you watch your content on, the movie or television show looks as intended. Different color spaces are on the camera side or on the deliverable side. You see here on the right side, AP0, the very wide gamut on the CIE chart is actually the archiving format of ACES. So cameras get ported from camera native color gamut into AP0. While the colorist is working, the working color space, which can also be described as saturation perhaps, is AP1. That's in the human visual system. The horseshoe you see in the CIE chart, the curved center part of the diagram is the human visual system. So from there, then we go to the industry standards for deliverable, may it be DCI-P3 for cinema, Rec 2020 for HDR displays, or Rec 709 for normal TV sets. I want to talk more about the IDT, the input device transform. It's a moving target since more cameras come out. Cameras have different sensors. And again, here I show the result of a test we did where we shot a Macbeth chart and we see that we don't nail it. We don't have a perfect a match as we would like to see if we don't use ACES. So what we do every so often, we go to the rental houses here in Los Angeles. So the Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts and Science, we have a very good relationship with Otto Niemetz, the rental house, or with Panavision. We simply go there and ask, please give us every camera available, whatever you have available for us on the shelf, and we want to run an ACES test. We invite the ASC, so that is a test we did in 2017. So there are many ASC members who then help us to operate the cameras, to run the room in the same way in how a filmmaker would run the room. We shoot charts, test pictures, backlit charts, or simply the Macbeth chart, or simply just a skin tone reference as we would do in a normal movie, and then compare and verify what comes out of it. I'm going to talk about acescentral.com. That's the URL for our webpage. On acescentral.com, you will see which virtual working groups are active and running at the moment. For example, we have the ACES IDT virtual production group, which at the moment is actually re-evaluating to see if all our IDTs are in spec. We split the virtual working groups between an architectural working group and an implementers working group. So at the moment, we have an ACES IDT implementers working group active. So this CIE chart now shows different native color gamuts of different cameras. You see the red camera, the Alexa, the Sony camera. The Sony camera is the one which has the S gamut and S gamut 3, the red camera, and the Alexa camera. We have an unlimited, actually, library of different responses of cameras, and then offer IDTs. I also want to say the IDTs, the ODTs, all the elements of ACES are available at color correction units, editors, or compositing tools. So there is no Academy ACES software. You're all gonna find ACES inside of your editor, your compositing tool, or color corrector. I talk later about the product partners there as well. So a couple of years, this was at the same time, 2017, when we tested at Panavision. Steve Yetlin, ASC, Joshua Pines from Technicolor, and me got together and started the procedure of verifying IDTs. Joshua Pines is actually the leader of the virtual working group for the IDT as well. At the Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts and Science, the Pickford Center, we have a room which is called the Esmeralda Room, where we have a controlled environment, a gray card, and a Macbeth chart, controlled light. We measure and verify that the conditions are right, and camera manufacturers come in and shoot these easy elements for us to prove that the IDTs and the cameras are in spec. We measure on the left side, you see in the middle, the ceramic tile. We use the photo research measurement tool to confirm that our lighting condition is the same. We use the same lenses for every camera. They are all PL mount lenses. We use our light meter to verify what the T-stop or the F-stop would be. So if at At a certain light level, the light meter tells us that the f-stop has to be 4.0. We tell the light meter we are at ISO 800, have a frame rate of 24 frames per second. If all the measurements and all the settings of the camera are matching, and if the distance is the same to the focal point of the camera, then an 18% gray card should appear as 18% in linear light. ACES works in linear light here. Steve Yetlin gave us this formula here where we can underexpose and overexpose a gray card or a Macbeth chart and verify the response over and underexposed. Here I show quickly visually what we get out of it for every camera to then compare that in this controlled conditions while using the IDT provided for the camera, each camera reacts similarly. Of course, when you are on set, you always will run the camera in different ways, and it's down to your creativity how to run the camera. We just use this very controlled environment here to prove that the IDTs are working. Now coming to the ODTs, another very important part, that's the output device transform. That's what where ACES helps us to have matching looks on different devices here. I just did in this chart, I want to show how many versions we actually do today. It's not only the 100 nits SDR version and then the cinema SDR version anymore, which is at 48 nits. Today, we actually generate many versions, HDR for cinema, HDR for home, 3D in different light levels. And then we add resolutions to it, HD, UHD, 2K, 4K, 8K. It's amazing how many devices today in 2021 offer 8K for us as well. Here again, the color gamut, we actually gonna take care that the color gamut is right, but also the white point is right. On the right side of this chart here, we show the Kelvin curve with the white point, while HDR and Rec 709 is often D65 for a creative purpose. We go a little bit warmer quite often, perhaps D60. This would be if you would have a print film pre-visualization and a Fuji or a Kodak look, you would get warmer. So all this is selectable and available in ACES, and it's the same setting in every tool. And that's unique for ACES, that if you choose the PQ HDR 1000 nits setting of ACES in Resolve, you can also select it in Avid or in Adobe, or Adobe would use OpenColor.io actually. So OpenColor.io, the plugin, OpenColor.io version 2.0, the plugin which is available in many tools has ACES option. So the beauty is that with the ACES functionality, you get the same result in many different tools. Talking about HDR, 100 nits, 1000 nits. 1000 nits is 10 times brighter than 100 nits, but we don't simply just make the signal linear 10 times brighter. We actually have this EOTF, the electro-optical transfer function, which is called the PQ curve, while on the right side, you see the normal gamma curve of 2.4 actually, as it was used in Rec 709. And on the left side, you see this PQ curve, which is very neutral in the black levels and starts later in the highlights to give us a brighter response. I have this fake waveform monitor here. Left side, a normal waveform monitor. Right side, a stretched waveform monitor. So this is how we would not do it. How we do it actually is that from 0 to 50, 50% of the signal, and the skin tones are quite often around 50%. We try to have the low light and the midtones the same, and then just stretch the highlights. So I go back to that one. So this is how we would not do it. And this is why, this is how it would be recommended to go for. And more examples. Every so often we have to show cat pictures because we love cat pictures. I want to talk about the human eye as well, as shown in this cat. We have an iris in our eye as well. And it's actually an analog device, our iris. So we cannot instantly have a very bright image and then cut to a very dark image, since our iris needs time to adapt to the situation. So we cannot in a dark theater run our image at 1000 nits. It would, everybody's eyes would close, and if we come to a dark scene, we would not see anything. We would be blinded for a while. So that's why we have the PQ curve, that we only have the highlights actually being bright and punchy. The beauty of HDR as well is that the darks get darker. Barco here show the slides of their light steering projector. On a normal DLP projector, the full light is always present at the DLP sensor, and we change our mirrors and let the light through where it's needed, but quite often the light just gets blocked instead of used. The light steering projector now steers the light into the direction where it's needed, and never blocks the dark part out. It uses intelligence to steer the light to directions where the light is needed. So a normal SDR image versus an HDR image. And this example works for TV sets and cinema projectors, actually, where we normally would have a dim sky, the washed out blacks, we have lost details. In HDR, we can just open up the image more and show more detail in the highlights and also in the blacks. So in ACES, we just have the ODTs available for all these devices to have the right match between content and SDR monitor, or content and HDR monitor or projectors. Here is a chart showing the partners who is part of the Academy ACES project here. It's a floating task. More and more vendors and product partners join us on a daily basis. And I hope all of you are interested in working with us on the ACES project. ACES Central, again, that's the URL you want to go to. So on ACES Central, you're going to learn what's new. You can also give feedback if you are a user of ACES, or you can even join a virtual working group and become a member of the ACES R&D team. So thank you to you. Thank you to everybody in Korea for listening. And I hope you have a good day, and visit us when you come back to Hollywood to pick up your next Oscar. All the best. Bye.